only going to make over one of these ornate wine bottle wire pieces, I guess is what I'll call it. But I'm gonna, first of all, take off the top, and that way I just have the cylindrical part. I don't need the top for the project that I'm going to be working on. So I'm gonna take this piece off. It's just held on by a screw. So we'll get that off so that I can spray paint. I'm gonna spray paint this piece, if I can get that off. And that way it'll be easier to get all of those little crevices and everything. I'm also going to remove this paper, and then I will be replacing this with something more appropriate for the season. So the next project is this wire. It used to be a wine bottle holder, and I took the lid off. And as you can see, it's just wire. It's a metal cylindrical thing. I washed it up, cleaned it up. Now I'm going to paint it white so I can make it into something that I can use as decor for the fall season. So I'm going to paint it white. I'm going to use spray paints. With all the little pieces of wire, it's easier just to use spray paint. So I'm going to use the spray paint and give it a coat. Do a few small coats, light coats, to get complete coverage. Okay, so I'm going to let that dry, and then I'll come back and do a second coat. Okay, so now my first layer, my first coat is dry, and I'm going to flip it over. It gives me different angle to get my spray in so that I get all these parts that were underneath before, they're now on top, and I'm able to spray them and get them covered. Okay, now we'll give that a chance to dry and make sure that all the parts are painted, and then we'll move on to our next step. Now we're going to add the finishing touches. I have some rice paper with this design on it. Look, it has a rustic type feel to it. And I am going to take that and put it on this band here. So to do that, I'm going to start with the Dixie Belle Clear Coat and put that on the paint. And then we will apply the rice paper on top of that. So I just have my little brush here that I use. I just like having the control of these smaller bristled brushes. So I'm going to go the whole way around on this. It's not that big, so I can do the whole thing without it drying out too fast. But you want to make sure that you get a full, complete coat on there so that you don't have a place where it's not going to stick underneath there. So, and I want to make sure I get down around those rims, those edges, and everywhere around there. Now, this is about 3 inches. So I took and measured this out, so it's about 3 inches. So I'm gonna turn it like this and just apply this on there and roll it around. and keep it straight. Going over it as I go so that I do not have bubbles in here. Keeping it straight, because on a long piece like this, the paper does have a tendency to go at an angle, but I've been able to keep this straight, and it went on really well because there are no bubbles there that I have to work out. Okay, now we're just going to finish up this seam here. Now, I'm going to go over this with the clear coat to finish the application. And there you go. You can see that it's all applied. Just have to wait for it to dry. And then we have some finishing touches that we're going to add to this. Now we're ready to put the finishing touches on our canister here. So what I have is I have taken some of this and cut a length, and we're going to wrap it around the bottom and the top edge of of our rice paper that we decoupaged on here. So I'm going to take this, the edge, and I have my glue gun here, and I am going to just apply a line here so that I can attach the edge and put that on and get it started. And I am going to just wrap this around, and there's enough there that it wrapped again. We're just going to wrap it around now. I'm going to leave the edges, I'm going to leave it loose around there and just attach the beginning and the end. Okay, so now I'm going to reach in here and put a dot of my glue and stick the edge of that in there. And see how that edge is? Now we're going to do the same thing with the top. I'm going to line it up and go to the same area that I started the other one so that I don't have the beginning and the end in different places here. So I'm going to start in the same area. Get these lined up. Like that. And just wrap it around. I do try to catch the glue on that second round just to help secure it. Just keep wrapping it around. Now, I will bring it up, push it up all the way around before I connect it in the back here. Add a little glue to secure my end. I'm going to cut off some of that's left there because it's a little longer than the other one. And we're going to make sure that this is all pushed up. There we go. There we go. A nice finish on here. Now I also have this here, I believe is tie back for a curtain. And see the pretty rosette, pretty daisy flower? This here is magnetized. It has a magnet on each end, so they come together like that. I am going to wrap it around my piece just to add a little extra dimension without actually doing anything additional to it. I'm just going to put it right here around this. And look at that. It just adds some extra decoration to it. And it's not permanent. I can take it off and change it if I like, because it is magnetized. I just thought it was a cool addition, something that worked. Because it is metal, I can have it attached there and I can easily take it off. So I have that ability to change that up if I want. And I'm going to put these hydrangeas in there. And look at that. So pretty. These will bloom quite a while yet, at least mine do. So I thought they were a perfect flower to put in here for the late summer into fall look. So what do you think? I love it. I think it's adorable, and it's something that was so easy to do. And all it takes is a little stir of the imagination, and maybe just getting inspired by something you see somebody else do. So I hope that through this process that I've inspired you to take a new look at some items that maybe even you have around the house, and you can reimagine them into something beautiful, and just to give your decor at home a freshness and something new. So thank you for joining me on this adventure. I ask that you would give me a thumbs up and a like, and go ahead, subscribe, follow my adventures, and see what all we have to do. Check out my other videos if you haven't already for this, I would say, thrift haul, because there were 3 items that I redid from yard sales that I went to. So check them out and get inspired and be creative. Thanks for joining me. Bye-bye.